on that. It's also probably the most classic looking supercell I've seen all day. It's got the hook echo, the appendage there, that little debris ball. Mayo right now, Chesney, which is what we just talked about, but Boiling Springs, North Carolina, that's the home of Gardner-Webb University. So it's heading right in that direction. Mooresboro, Lattimore, and Earl, and eventually the Shelby area, that's where it would be heading next. So this, again, this is a tornado debris signature on the radar. We can detect the presence of lofted debris. We'll see if they'll upgrade the warning actually with the confirmation part of this, and you'll see it actually show up sometimes in the text of the warning. So it still says radar indicated. Eventually, if it switches to radar confirm, that would mean that the Weather Service actually has it as a confirmed tornado. So it does look like it is got debris being lofted. If you go close, I mean, that's textbook, folks, and that's not the kind of textbook you want to see, because what you're seeing is the rain is wrapping around, and that little ball is actually debris. It's not rain. Sometimes it is rain wrapping into it, but that's stuff being picked up by the tornado. If we looked at the debris detector, you see in that same area, it's co-located right there, that lowering. You can see at the top of the screen. I'm going to go over the key wall here, Sean, real quick. I'm going to swing our Dallas camera around and see if we can get a view of it. So when you look at the tornado debris signature, the more up into here, you're seeing debris. So that's the area. Now, this is likely some artifacts going on, but when you see that in the same location of the circulation and the debris ball, they got to be all stacked on each other. So if I could put 3 radar images together, they'd all be in that same spot right there. And again, what the radar is telling me, we've got different sized objects in the air. Rainfall, all the raindrops are pretty much the same size. There's a 1-to-1 ratio, but when you have a lower ratio or a CC value that's lower, we know that's debris. Tree branches, leaves, 2x4s, dust, shingles, parts of stuff. It starts showing up on the radar, and that's what we're seeing right there just to the northwest of Mayo, moving northeast. So I'm going to step off camera here, guys, but actually what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to actually move our camera in Dallas, try to get it to that look. It's very clouded in right now, but I'm going to move it, try to swing it around all the way, see if it's not going to have a really clear view of this, but we'll do our best. Looking back to the west, southwest, northeast. Let me put it back the other way. So I'm going to try to pan it around so we get a better view of this if it does come up through the upstate. So again, this is for Cleveland County, North Carolina, the area we're talking about. And that is just a classic tornado debris signature. The previous warning we were on the air for was over in Chester and Lancaster County. That circulation is still there, but it's much weaker. You can see the difference between the two. Whoops, kind of went off camera there. Pop back on here a second. There's still some rotation showing up in parts of southern Union County, but it's much broader. It's not nearly as strong as what we're seeing right there. That is just textbook tornado on radar right there, moving to the northeast. So there's the hook echo. You see the debris ball moving towards southern parts of Cleveland County. I'm going to widen this out and try to get it all on camera here. Let me see the movement again. I'll make sure we got the right movement on this. It's moving northeast at 25, so this is moving a little bit slower. It's closer to the low, so you kind of anticipate that these will move a little bit. I'm going to track the debris ball or the signature on radar to the northeast. So this is an updated storm track. And please, if you see this, don't use these exact times. Give yourself about 5 minutes leadway on this, because whether you're watching me streaming service, cable, satellite, wherever you're seeing this, there's going to be a little bit of a delay in you getting this. So basically heading towards Boiling Springs at 7:48, I want you in your shelter location now, if not sooner. Mooresboro around 7:50. If it holds together, Earl, Lattimore around 7:55. Shelby, 8:03. So Shelby would be around 8:03 if it continues to go off in that direction, and then eventually moving into northern and central parts of Cleveland County. So again, if you're just tuning in and you flipped over, your phone went off, and you're wondering what's going on, there is a radar confirmed tornado, I can tell you, based on the radar signature, moving out of the upstate into Cleveland County. This is in effect for Cherokee, Cleveland, Rutherford, and Spartanburg counties. Strong rotation detected on radar. So again, remember your safe spot. If you're home, you want to get to that green room in the middle of your house. Put as many walls between you and the outside as you possibly can, because that is the area that is going to be protected the most by flying debris. And we are actually detecting that flying debris on the radar right now, which means you want those walls between you and the outside. If we widen it out, you can see the two waves of rain. The first one is over Union County, and I don't want you guys to be letting your guard down there either, even though there's not a warning. There's clearly some strong thunderstorms moving through parts of Union County right now. But the reason we broke in for this was this tornado warning moving through the upstate of South Carolina, heading towards southern Cleveland County, and it's moving about 25 miles per hour. So they're going to add the considerable and dangerous tag to this because the debris signature. So you notice how the radar, the source went from radar to observed. That means that this is a confirmed tornado, as I was just telling you. So the radar detection counts as someone seeing it on the ground. So this is not just radar indicated, guys. This is actually a confirmed tornado on the ground crossing Highway 11 and 221. It's heading into that southeast corner of Rutherford County and the southwest corner of Cleveland County. So I'm going to go ahead and track it into parts of Cleveland County. So there's Boiling Springs, Cliffside Road right there. Cliffside is there, Patterson Springs off to the right there, Shelby is there as well, Lattimore. So these are the areas. If you're in those areas right now, make sure you seek shelter immediately on the lowest level of your home interior room. Now, if you're watching me and you're not in that area, please call somebody, text somebody in that area if you can. This is a confirmed tornado. Not only do we have radar confirmation, I just got a spotter report from Archbald Road and Elder Road. Saw the tornado on the ground in this area. So this tornado is coming out of Cherokee County, and it's moving, the Cherokee County, northeast of Spartanburg County, moving into that southwest corner of Cleveland County. Let's go back to the signature on radar and see it's still there around Chesney right now. We'll go to the dual pole data. Oh, yeesh, that is not. The reason I say that is debris. That little hole. That is a tornado on the ground. It's almost zeroed out to nothing there, which if you look at the top of our screen, I've got our debris signature right up here at the top. And so that shows you exactly where the tornado is. So that's the tornado on the ground. Let me do a track on that. And this will be the exact tornado track because it's actually being, so Boiling Springs, 750. You've got some time, but I want you to go now. And if you're in that area and you can call other people in Boiling Springs, say, hey, it's Gardner-Webb University, everybody on campus, anybody that's there, faculty, staff, any students that are still on campus, make sure everybody is in their shelter location. You got to get away from those walls and outside windows. Make sure you put as many walls and windows. We're about to get another tornado warning for Union County, North Carolina here in a second. So just a heads up, I've been watching that storm as well. We'll go over to that storm because there's going to be a tornado warning here for Union County, North Carolina momentarily. We've got another circulation, looks like showing up, two of them in southern Union County. So two separate areas. You're probably going to watch this warning pop up as I'm talking. The tornado on the ground is heading into Cleveland County. We're going to get a new tornado warning here momentarily for Union County.
We just got a major power outage reported north of Mayo, south of Chesney, right where you just said.
Okay, and there's the tornado warning
report was.
I just was talking about. So that's the tornado warning for Union County, North Carolina. As we expected, we would see that tornado warning. Let me go back to that real quickly. They're warning for the second circulation to the east there. So I'm going to go into that warning. That looks to be, yeah, they're warning for the one towards Pageland Highway 601. This is heading east of Monroe, heading towards Marshville. Now, there's a couple circulations in there. As I'm watching this, there's one circulation there. There's another one there that we got to keep an eye on. So we have two warnings. They're in two opposite parts of our viewing area, but both are very serious. The one that, Vanessa was just talking about, we had, confirmation of power outage, but I mean, just look at that. And what you're showing here, let me kind of go to the wall and explain to you what's going on here. I'm not going to discount what's going on in Union County, but this is a confirmed tornado You see this hole? It's basically what's happening, and the radar is telling me there is debris, lofted debris, parts of houses, trees, whatever's being picked up by the tornado is being detected on the radar. We call it a TDS. That's an acronym for Tornado Debris Signature. It's not rotation on radar. It's actually a tornado showing up on the radar. The radar beam goes out. It normally bounces off of raindrops. We can see if the raindrops are rotating. In this case, these aren't raindrops rotating. It's debris. It's things that are different shapes and sizes. So their correlation coefficient between the two, a 2x4 is this big, a shingle is this big. The relationship between the two is not 1-to-1. It's going to be 50, 60, 70% maybe difference. So it's going to show up in these lower values of correlation coefficient, and that's what you're seeing up here. That's why we call it our debris detector. We use this in the winter to see when there's hail, or snow, sleet mix, because they're different shapes. But in the summertime, in severe weather mode, that's a tornado on radar. And Vanessa, you said massive power outages in that area?
Yeah, just literally a couple minutes after you were talking about that debris that you saw on the radar, we had Duke Energy report about 700 people without power, and it was right in that area, that Chesney, Mayo area. It says the outage was caused by an object coming into contact with our power lines. So that kind of tracks what you were saying with that debris flying. Yeah,
so I just got another report. This is from the Chesney area. 911 center reports tornado on the ground moving northeast. This was at around 7:15. So we've got a confirmed report of a tornado on the ground. This is moving into Cleveland County, and the circulation looks like it's solidly into Cleveland County. I'm going to look at a couple of I'm liking that it's weakening, though. That's a good sign. The rotation is not nearly as strong. But here's the thing. The debris is going to stay in the air for a while because it'll take a while for it to float back down even after the tornado lifts. We sometimes see the tornado debris signature stay there for a while. And I can actually somewhat gauge. I'm going to go back a frame here on my laptop and see the height of that debris signature, because that would give me a rough estimate of how strong this tornado is. So I'm going to look at that. That tornado debris signature was lofted to 10,000 feet. That's EF1, EF2 tornado strength right there. So that's a significant tornado that was on the ground moving into Cleveland County. And now let's go to Union County. Thankfully, more of a rural part of the county, and not as strong a signature. But that rotation is much broader. If you look at the rotation here, it's much bigger. I mean, it's gigantic. It takes up a large section. So that's telling me that the whole storm is rotating, but maybe not necessarily down to the surface. I look at the tornado debris signature here. We don't have much. I know you see these lower values, but that's not a clear indication. We're not co-located with the same spot. So there's our two separate tornado warnings. And Cleveland County has me way more concerned because we had a confirmation not only on radar, but also looking at the report from spotters on the ground. And then Vanessa's given me additional information. And anytime I see power outages co-located with a signature like that, we know we're getting damage. It's fascinating that they knew an object must have came in contact with the line. I'm guessing that's an automated feature that allows them to sense how the line is shorted out or how it's doing. But there's some good news with that storm in Cleveland County. It's weakening. I still see debris, but it's probably lofted from earlier. The Union County storm definitely looks like it's much broader and higher up. It's not close to the surface like we saw earlier with some of the rotation moving in. So I like the fact that this is not as strong as it was when it was down in Chester and Lancaster County. But look at just the loop. You can actually kind of see that whole cluster moving in there is weakening quite a bit. Man, that is a pretty impressive little spin in the atmosphere. So if that can work its way down to the surface, that's where you start to get worried about possible tornadoes. So the rotation there is there. It's very weak. The one we're going to go into Cleveland County, much weaker as well. Earlier, let me go back a couple frames and I'll show you how strong this was. Near Mayo and Chesney, right there, we had a tornado on the ground. Looks like it was still there. It looks like multiple vortices. Two separate circulations there, which are probably rotating around the main tornado. And then it looks like it's weakening. So it's in that southeast corner of Rutherford, southwestern Cleveland County, and then we'll go into Union County, North Carolina. Two areas of concern there. You can kind of see that little kink in the line there. We've got a couple areas of rotation. this is pushing out this way and the winds are wrapping around. But even down here, which is coming up through Chester County, there's Pageland, Highway 9 right here, heading up towards Anson County. So Anson County, you got to be on guard. This is heading your direction, southwestern Anson County. There's some broad rotation there and broad rotation as well. This is all kind of pivoting up to the north and east and is going to be pushing through over the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. So we're still seeing this tornado warning for Union County as well as Cleveland County, but the Union County is pushing off pretty quickly and not as strong as what we had in Cleveland County. So I'm not seeing any more reports coming out of either of those, which is a good sign. I'm going to check real quick with our spotters to see if I see any more reports coming in.
Brad, that is a good sign that we're not seeing more reports coming in as we are looking at both of these tornado-warned storms on different parts of our area. But
yeah, so what we're seeing right now is it looks like they're gonna probably allow one of these to cancel out here in a second. I'm seeing the latest. So yeah, they're going to keep it with the tornado warning, but they took out the considerable tag, which is just basically saying they're not seeing the lofted debris. So it went from observed to radar indicated. This is up till 7:45, so it's probably a good idea. We'll see if it cycles. And what we mean by cycling, sometimes what happens is these storms will produce a tornado. The rotation within the parent thunderstorm will occlude or kind of pull back that one tornado, and a new one will wrap around and form on the back side. So we'll have to see if it does that because the circulation in the mid-levels is still there, but I'm looking at the radar. The circulation is all but gone, which is a really good sign coming out of Cleveland County. Let's go back into eastern part of Union County. Really broad circulation there. That is not overwhelming. It's broad. I think they're just kind of getting ahead of that because they don't want they don't want to wait until they see something on the ground. And it looks like it's really starting to try to tighten up. I'm going to loop this. I'm going to go back just a couple frames because when I'm watching, you see how the whole thing's rotating? Even on the reflectivity, we're not even looking at winds. You can just see I'm going back and forth with our times here. See how the whole system is rotating. It's like a mini low pressure system moving through Union County and then pushing off to the northeast. Let's go back to the velocity data. Again, that rotation is down here near Allen Crossroads, Sturviance Crossroads, and then heading towards Marshville, Wingate, Peachland, and Polkton. So along 74 between Union and Anson County. So that's where it's heading. I'm going to track this out because I want to give people a heads up. We tried to do this earlier down in Chester County because this is where it was going. And it's important to give people as much leeway as possible in warning time so that you can get ready. So if I track that little circulation and it's moving northeast, I got to make sure I get the right speed here. It's not moving nearly as slow as the other one, but that would put it in Marshville at around 7:34, which is any minute now. Polkton 7:42, Big Lick around 8:05, and then Albemarle. This could be the second time today we've seen a tornado in that Plier, Albemarle area around 8:20. This evening. So impressive set of storms today that we've had so many tornado warnings and what looks to be a couple confirmed tornadoes. So it's definitely been an active day. It almost feels like Tropical Storm Fred setup where we had I think 36 tornado warnings that day. It wasn't quite that active today, but this whole system acted like a tropical system today as it was moving through the Carolinas, and we're in that northeast quadrant. And as I loop this, you'll see these almost bands, like these bands are wrapping around a low pressure system, and it definitely was producing tornadoes today.
Yeah, very similar to a tropical system, especially when we had the first wave this morning, Brad. That was what we call round one, and now we're facing a second round of tornado warning now, although we only have...
So your mic's not on all the way, so we're going to get you a mic, KJ. You kind of hear him in the background. So what he was saying was we're watching these waves kind of rotate around, kind of like a tropical system. If I widen this out, I'll show you the overall radar. You can see this low pressure system. It looks like the remnants of a tropical system moving through the southeast, and that is what caused these storms today and why we had the enhanced potential for tornado. So it's 7:36, and if you're just tuning in wondering, where my show is, the reason we're on, we've got two separate tornado warnings, one for eastern Union County till 8 o'clock. This one is for Cleveland County till 7:45. Both of them are showing signs of weakening a little bit, but we are still seeing the one in Union County probably a little more concerning. The reason this one was really concerning earlier, this was a confirmed tornado. We had a tornado on the ground near the Mayo, Chesney area in the upstate, moving northeast into parts of Cleveland County. So I look at the, looks like it's spinning back up. That's kind of what I was worried about. So they're right on 321, or excuse me, 221, coming out of the upstate. We've got new rotation right here, and I'll show you, I'm going to highlight it on the map. So there's new rotation just southwest of Boiling Springs. So that's a new couplet showing up there. I'm going to go back to our dual pole data. So I can actually still see the debris lofted. Now, that doesn't mean that's where the tornado is, because remember, tornado sucks up all this debris, lofts it to 10,000 feet. I'm looking at my radar off screen here, and I can see how high that debris is, 10,000 feet plus. That's not going to come back to the ground right away. It's going to stay on the radar for a while and spread out. In fact, you'll often see like a plume of debris get lofted this direction as it pushes off to the north and east. So there's debris being lofted and pushed by that storm. But there is a new circulation right there south of Cliffside Road and McCombs Road. That's where the circulation is, right in this area, right there. So if there's a tornado, it's right in this area. And that's the debris that we're seeing right on the state line, right with Rutherford and Cleveland County, kind of where all those counties come together and the state line there. That's where that circulation is. So that's a tornado trying to redevelop now. Whether or not it's back on the ground probably doesn't matter, because this had a tornado on the ground earlier. The rotation, it's strong. The parent storm is strong enough that we could see that rotation reform. Looking at the debris signature, the debris signature was very clear right there, and it's actually gotten smaller, so it looks like it's occluding or moving out as it moves into Cleveland County. So the fact that that's shrinking tells me we got less of a confirmed tornado and more circulation. So this could pop a tornado at any moment. If you're in Boiling Springs, stay in that safe spot. I don't want you out of that until this storm passes. This definitely has the potential to produce another tornado in the next, I would say, 15 to 20 minutes or so.
Even though the warning expires in about 7 minutes, certainly want to keep your guard up and stay weather aware. On the South Carolina side of that warning, in the Chesney area, where we've had the confirmation, it has since been shaved back and only covering the North Carolina section of the warning, and that's over the Boiling Springs area. So make sure you stay in your safe place throughout this duration of it. Even though the warning expires at 7:45, it will likely be extended due to what we're able to detect here with radar. Seeing some circulation here as we look at the Doppler winds there, Brad.
Yeah. So I'm just keeping an eye on this second line coming out of the upstate. We thought there'd be one more line. There's a couple of little cells back here. There's one down here coming out of the upstate that's got rotation, and then another one down below that. So we've got this one line, which is right here. I'm actually going to go over to the key wall here and kind of tell you what I'm talking about. So we've got two waves of storms moving through the area. This is the wave we were really concerned about. This is rotating through tornado warning. But you see this isn't much of a line, but there's broken. These are individual cells. These are supercells. We're coming up at 7:40 here, and the sunset tonight is at 8:26. So as soon as the sun goes down, I can't wait for it to go down. We'll lose some of the heating, but that's over less than an hour away. But that's still plenty of heating out there. So these storms are going to go for a while. So if you're in York, Chester, Gaston, Cleveland, Lincoln County, you got to be on guard. And then in eastern Union, out towards Wadesboro and Anson County, Stanley, Richmond, even Chesterfield County, these areas need to be on guard as well, because there's enough heating for the next hour or so that both of these could keep going. Now, this warning is up until 7:45, so you're going to want to stay in this shelter location, and we'll see if this gets extended. I'm going to actually walk over here, because I think there's a small chance we could see that extended even further out because of that circulation still showing up in there. I'm not seeing any more reports of anything on the ground, so spotter reports have kind of waved off here a little bit.
Let's see, 7:38, we had something come in from Union County. Yeah, no, I don't see any.
Yeah, the only thing I
there.
see is another amateur radio report of storm damage on Highway 221, South Alabama Avenue at Overbridge Road. That's in Chesney. 14 to 18-inch diameter limbs all over the place. So that's that same spot where Vanessa was telling us about the power outages. That's probably those branches were probably part of the reason we had the power outages. So we've got numerous ground truth reports of that tornado and radar indications. And it looks like the circulation is still there. It's just west of Boiling Springs. It's kind of riding the Rutherford-Cleveland County line. Oh, that next scan of the radar was nice because it's not there as much. It's weakened quite a bit. So my guess is, based on the radar, that we're going to see that one allowed to expire. Let's go to Union County here. And you can see this one is actually kind of crossing over the county line as well. This is going into Anson County. And again, we're getting into one of those jurisdictional things. Anson County, that's Raleigh's Weather Service office. So Greenville-Spartanburg issues the warnings for Union County. Raleigh will be issuing a warning for Anson County if they coordinate. That's why you see the odd shape to the warning polygon. Notice how it's this weird kind of like pie piece, and it stops right at the county line. Storms don't stop at the county lines, but that's the only place they can issue the warning for. So to basically extend this, they would have to get Raleigh to go in here and extend this warning into Anson County so that warning polygon could go into there. And we'll see. I don't see them.
Do they confer with each other?
Yeah, so that's why I'm checking, because I'm on chats with all these guys to see if they will coordinate. And usually they're pretty good about coordinating things.
I'm not seeing any of that either.
Yeah.
Brad, the chatter with
the problem is they have storms up in the Raleigh area as well, which is probably taking their eyeball off those a little bit. And they probably got to communicate with the other office to make sure. So 2 warnings. We've got 2 minutes left on the Cleveland County one. They've extended that warning. So it looks like new warning there until 8:15 now. You just saw that pop up. So there's the new tornado warning. They've extended that into Cleveland County till 8:15. You'll hear my computer going off here a little bit. It's my computer siren there. So that's the new warning now until 8:15. So they're going to continue that one. I think because we've seen this storm cycle, and occasionally, just to kind of explain what this is, if you know how tornadoes form, these surface winds and these winds aloft can get these rotating columns. And when we get lift like we get today, that's why sunshine is so important. This wind shear that you see on the screen, this happens on a lot of given days. But if you don't have lift, a strong updraft to tap into this, you will not get this little cylinder to tilt on end, and the updraft will actually cause it to start rotating. And you'll see that's usually what we detect on radar, that rotating mesocyclone. That's a rotating thunderstorm. Those storms don't always produce tornadoes, but we see that rotation on radar. And the reason warnings are issued off of that is, remember, the whole job is to forecast, not to nowcast. So we're trying to tell you it before the tornado forms. And because of that, you are going to have a little bit of a false alarm rate. But in my honest opinion, it's okay. I'd rather be a little cautious and let you know that conditions are favorable for a tornado to form on radar. And then when a tornado forms, we'll get a wall cloud, which is a lowering. We've seen that a couple times today. And then we will get the tornado to form. And that tornado will form, and usually it sometimes can lift back up. It will dissipate, and then that rotation that we saw with the wall cloud will help produce additional tornadoes. So we've seen that happen today, that cycling of these storms. So there's our 2 warnings. The Union County one is actually going to expire before now the Cleveland County one, because it's been extended until 8:15. Let's go into Union County, because I feel like that one has not been as strong. And it's actually, the Union County storm, it's actually more into Anson County. If you look carefully, this is south of Polkton more so. If I look at the roads here, this is Deep Creek Road, which runs all the way up to Upper Whitestone Road and then Lower Whitestone Road. That's where the circulation is. So on radar, the rotation is right here. It's really broad. It's right on the Union-Anson County line, and that's pushing to the northeast. So that's going to be moving into Anson County more so. And I'll do a quick storm track on that rotation. We'll take it in to Anson and maybe even southern Stanley County. So heads up in Peachland, Polkton, Ansonville, Cottonville, and Norwood. Cottonville, you've had a long history with tornadoes, unfortunately. We've had one earlier this year in that same area. So that's where that's heading. Let's go back to Cleveland County because this is that new warning. It's basically an extension of the old warning. If we look at Boiling Springs, so in Gardner-Webb, I hope you're in your shelter location. Lattimore is next. So 74, if you've ever taken 74 all the way over to, kind of a shortcut to get over to Asheville, it's going to cross over that area west of Shelby, and it's heading towards Lattimore, Double Shoals, Bellwood. It's going to move up into upper parts of Cleveland County towards South Mountain State Park. I will do a track on that rotation as well, which is right there, moving off in this direction. So Ellenboro, Shelby County Regional Airport, passing right over there. Polkville, around 801, Double Shoals, that's all in the northern part of Cleveland County. Bellwood as well, Olive Grove, and then it would head towards South Mountain State Park, less populated. But this is like a little mini, we joke sometimes, there's a little mini tornado alley over here. We get a lot of tornadoes over in this part of our viewing area. I'm going to go over to our tower cam again and see if I can't move our Gaston County cameras, see if we got any visibility at this at all. We got some pretty thick clouds coming in from the southeast. Yeah, the visibility is not great here today. We oftentimes, this is the classic setup for tornadoes in North Carolina, is that you just have rain-wrapped, high precipitation supercells, which the visibility is not the greatest in the world. Let me widen this out. We'll loop this a couple more times, and you can see the two storms. So I'm not discounting what's happening over there in Anson County, but that circulation is much weaker. The one in Cleveland County is weakened, but the warning lasts a little bit longer. Both of them, good signs that we've seen some weakening trends in both storms. Vanessa, I don't know if you've seen any more outages or anything on your end?
I've been looking, and I did see the Chesney outage is growing just a little bit, but I keep popping over to that area you've been showing around the Union County area. And I remember when you first warned us about this, you were showing it coming up from like the Jefferson Pageland area. And there are a few that were reported around the 7:15 time frame, just a couple, but nothing that I'm seeing going across the state line into Union County yet.
Okay. Yeah, I just got video out of Chesney. That tornado on the ground.
I'm looking at it right now.
It's a tornado.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. So that was earlier. That was around 7:45. So, or that's when they got it. So that's a clear tornado. But we kind of knew that looking at the radar. Mm-hmm. When I said earlier, people ask me today, what's the radar indicated versus radar confirmed? There's two different stories there. Radar observed is we see rotation, but radar confirmed means there's actually tornado on the ground. In fact, you can do tornado emergencies and dangerous situations when the radar actually detects the tornado. Now, there's some limitation to that because it has to be close enough to the radar to detect debris, and this is really close to Greer, South Carolina, so it was able to see it quite well. And that is one of the benefits of having dual pole Doppler radar, is that you can tell when there's lofted debris. But that was just a crazy storm. The fact that we had everything on there showing up so clearly, and then have all the confirmation. So we had the double confirmation, if you will. We had basically people on the ground see it, the radar saw it, and we saw debris. So that's the triple crown of how you confirm a tornado. And that's why earlier today we saw this in Northeast Charlotte. And people said, why is that not suspected? We know it was a tornado. We don't know the exact strength or path length. That's what the Weather Service will do tomorrow. But we know when we actually have that evidence ahead of time, we know at least it was a tornado. So one tornado warning has been canceled for Union County. That's good news. We're down to one tornado till 8:15. Tornado warning for really Cleveland County. It's out of Rutherford County for the most part. So I think for the most part we can say that we're done with that part of the county. So Rutherford County, Cherokee County, and Spartanburg County, you guys are in the clear. But this is heading towards central part of Cleveland County. And just an early heads up, if it holds together, western Lincoln County and northwestern Gaston County. So the areas I'm talking about are Cherville, Lincolnton, areas in the western part of Lincoln County, the Johnstown area, 27 going up to Toluca. So you kind of know those areas. If you're familiar with that area, that's what I'm talking about. Let me go back to the circulation here. We'll see. It's right over 74, just moving out of Boiling Springs. And remember the times here, guys. The radar, it only scans once a minute, sometimes sooner. So the radar data is delayed. And if you're watching me via streaming or satellite or any other, you're getting a little bit of a delay. So that's why these times, like I love giving the specificity of this or the precision of this, but precision isn't accuracy. This is just because I can give you a specific time. I would say plus or minus 10 minutes on these times. And if you want to be on the cautious side, use the plus 10 minutes so you're in your safe location way ahead of time, because that is what we want you to do. I will give you the all clear like I just did for Rutherford County and Cherokee County and Northeast Spartanburg County. They're all in the clear. But the heads up now is for Cleveland County. Notice how those counties have been taken out of the warning. It's just for Cleveland County. And then just thinking ahead, no warning yet, but then progression of this warning would take this storm into northwest Gaston County and eventually western Lincoln County.
And Brad, you mentioned that circulation is over 74. The storm motion right now is moving towards the north and northeast at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. So this is not slow moving. So you want to make sure that you heed that advice and take the storm track arrival time seriously and make sure you get to a safe place. Because this storm is known for producing a tornado. We have that confirmation. And there's video as well, and you can see that when you're out of your safe place. But make sure you take the storm seriously, as we have the warning that is in effect until 8:15 this evening, and that does include Cleveland County. As Brad just mentioned, this is moving towards Double Shows, Cherville, moving towards western Lincoln County as well, Bellwood. So once again, some heavy rain will move your way. You may not see that circulation. Nonetheless, that was the case earlier today, Brad, as we were talking about a tornado warned storm that actually had possible tornado as well in northeast Mecklenburg over in the Harrisburg area and took Bears County. Yep. A lot of people said it was heavy rain. They really just heard the rain and then they walked outside to notice numerous trees down in their neighborhood.
Yeah, that's a rain-wrapped tornado. These are all been rain-wrapped today. I can tell you that circulation in Cleveland County is right over Sunset Boulevard in 74 between Mooresboro and Lattimore. So that's right in the western sections of Cleveland County, near the Rutherford County line. Ellenboro is on the other side of the county line. This is now solidly in Cleveland County. And again, if I were to track this, and KG just mentioned Double Shoals and Bellwood, those are the two communities that I would be most concerned about next. I'm going to do a shorter storm track on it just to give more of an update. And again, I know a lot of folks, you were tuning in to watch something, or maybe you're watching our stream, and you're saying, I don't live in that area, but maybe you know somebody that does, or you have a friend of a friend, or a coworker, or a churchgoer, or a classmate. Text and call them. I mean, I'm telling you, helping us out, spread this word is the best thing you can do. Just shoot a text and say, hey, are you okay? I'm seeing there's a tornado warning in western Cleveland County. Are you in your safe spot? And remember, your safe spot is going to be on the lowest level of your home, the most interior room possible, if you can get to that lowest level. I'll do those tornado safety tips again. You know, oftentimes if you're in an office or school building, get to that middle. And here's the thing, you may not be at home, so whatever building you're in, get to the middle of it. Underground basement is great. Not a lot of us have a basement. Interior room. Now, if you're in a vehicle or car, what do? If you can, try to drive to a location that's one of these above, like a house or an interior room. But if you can't, stay in the vehicle. Don't get out. I would caution you about getting out of your vehicle. The flying debris is what's dangerous. A last-ditch effort, stay in your vehicle, put your seatbelt on, lower your head, and brace, because roll cages and side curtain airbags and airbags in general, these cars can withstand a little bit. It's not the best location in the world, but it's better than being outside. And if you're outside and none of that is available to you, getting low into ditch area is probably the best thing you can do. So we're still tracking this tornado warning moving into Cleveland County. And again, the good news is it's right over the Lattimore area, but it's not as strong. So that's the good news. The rotation is not as strong as earlier because this was a confirmed tornado. We spotted the rotation on radar. We saw debris lofted by the radar. And then we had an actual video. If you follow me on Twitter or on Facebook, I just posted the video we got from the Chesney area. So it's a wedge tornado. It's actually substantial. And based on what I was seeing on the cross sections, the debris that was lofted was over 10,000 feet. That's EF2, EF1 range tornado. So when it takes that kind of energy to get the lofted debris, so you can kind of give a rough estimate on the damage that it was caused by how high up that got into the air. So again, this is up until 8:15 for parts of Cleveland County.
Our sister station in Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, Asheville just received a viewer video. I don't know, Brad, if you want to take a quick peek and see if we want to show that.
I'll take them a look.
Yeah, because I know you want to vet this Highway 11 near Chesney, but it shows like
really fast-moving clouds.
Fast-moving clouds, yeah.
Yeah, so it's hard to tell. Below that, there's something. The tree line. This is the problem. I mean, I chased tornadoes for a while. Chasing in the Carolinas is incredibly difficult for that reason. But yeah, that looks like it's a difficult area to chase quite a bit because you just can't see the horizon. So we're seeing a couple other storms come out of the upstate. And I've been mentioning this. You get tunnel vision on one storm. You see this storm coming across Interstate 26? This has got rotation in it as well. If you look carefully right there, we've got rotation. So one storm moves in, weakens. We've got another storm on its tail. And we might see an additional warning. So when I look at the different storms, I got to keep my eyes on all these because we've had tornado warnings in different parts of the area. I'm going back and forth between different radars, so I apologize for moving around quickly. I'm analyzing this live while we're doing this on the air. So don't be surprised, this area back here, this storm right here near Pauline, that one's rotating, that one's rotating, and obviously we know this one is rotating, and then we have broad rotation over here. So if you look at that, we've got two distinct waves of thunderstorms moving through. The first one moving to the east pretty quickly towards the sandhills, and this next one is more of a broken line coming in from the west. And these are the ones I get more concerned about. They're individual cells. They're away from each other. There's nothing to block the inflow. The outflow from one storm isn't going to disrupt the other. Supercell thunderstorms, the ones that produce tornadoes, the bigger tornadoes, like to be all by themselves. They don't like other storms robbing their moisture, disrupting their flow. So when they get broken up like this, you get a little more concerned. These quick spin-up ones occurring in this line, they can be dangerous as well, but they tend to be very short-lived and weaker tornadoes. The ones that you watch out for are these supercells like we just saw move through parts of Chesney and the Mayo area. So good news in Cleveland County, I am not seeing anything that would indicate a strengthening storm. So I'm continuing to see that this is going to be pushing to the northeast pretty quickly and weakening, and then I'm going to start turning my attention to this next cell, which is down here east of Woodruff near Walnut Grove. That's a supercell as well. Now, the interesting thing about that one, let's track that out because this one actually would probably clip Union County and maybe get into Gaston County. So just a quick track. Again, no warning with that yet. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give you a heads up. I'm going to put that right there by the box so you guys can see it. So putting towards Ashbury area, Gaffney, East Gaffney, Blacksburg, and then Patterson Springs, Kings Mountain, closer to 9 if it's moving at that speed. I got to take a close look at the speed again because I want to make sure that these aren't slowing down. As you get back to the west, sometimes the speed slows down a little bit. What is the movement still? 25. So I'm going to look at the radar, what the radar's indication. I'm going to go back a couple frames so we can do a better gauge. That looks faster than 25. So let me look at the radar indicator. The radar indicates that's moving about 35. Yeah, so I'm going to update that track because looking at the speed, I would say that's moving more at 35 miles an hour. So we'll go real quick. That's the updated track based on 35 miles per hour. So, you know, Shelby again, Grover, Bessemer City, Cherville, close to 9. Now, again, I'm just showing you ahead of time. That's where the storm that is rotating is going. If it does end up producing a tornado, that's what we're going to be worried about. And then back to the east, I don't want to lose track of that one either because we've still got some rotation in Wadesboro, but it's very broad. That storm system back there is much weaker. It's still there. I still see the broad rotation. I'm going to have to switch radars here. We're getting towards an area where the radar coverage is a little lacking. That's really far from Raleigh. You're looking super
And Brad,
far.
they canceled Cleveland County.
Good job. Yeah, that's good to hear. So let's go back. We'll recap real quickly here. Okay, so the warning has been canceled. So tornado warnings, currently no tornado warnings in effect. A couple things to keep an eye on. We're going to go back to programming here, and it's the top of the hour. Are these storms back to the southwest? We still have rotation in this storm coming across 26, and then another storm to the south. But right now, the rotation in all these is weakened to the point that there are no longer any tornado warnings in effect. So it's 8 o'clock now. Sun sets at 8:26. We are going to stay on guard, though, I think through about 9, maybe even slightly past 9, until we get the cooling of the day and the sun goes down. So all tornado warnings currently expired. If any more issued, we'll break back into programming. And please, if you're not following me on Twitter or Facebook or our WCNC, follow us now. I'll be posting updates as well, and on our app. If we end up live streaming and not on the air, you could see our stream there as well. We're now going to join your program, though, already in progress.